Hello, I'm Jessica Snow,
And I am Somsara Rielly.
and we are thrilled you're going to be joining us for an upcoming Soul Collage workshop. We wanted to make a little quick video just so you get the basics, kind of the lay of the land of Soul Collage. First of all, this is one of the most fun and also deep processes I've ever experienced, so I'm so glad that you're going to give it a shot. What we're going to show you here today is really the tip of the iceberg. There is so much more. Soul Collage really is like an infinite process. And you know, we just want to give you like the basics, but trust us, this is the beginning of the road, and the road stretches on and on and on and on. These are Soul Collage cards. So basically it's between 2 to 7 images and they're collaged onto a card. These are in little plastic sleeves. You can get these supplies. We'll give you a little link in the PDF where the link for this video was. That makes sense, yes. So it's about 2 to 7 images on a card. There's no hard and fast rules about it, but we do want each card to have kind of its own energy or identity. Soul Collage is basically the process of collaging your own oracle cards that are just for you. And then the second part of the process is using those cards in magical ways. Yes, readings, but there's also many other processes that we do in Soul Collage that might be new to you. It's fun as hell. This activity is fun. Samsara is going to prepare to kind of show you how to build a card in a moment, but let me just go over the basics of this process. So I think one of the reasons that this practice of Soul Collage is so fantastic is because, you know, our subconscious and the collective unconscious and the superconscious, they speak really easily to us in images, much more easily than in thoughts and words. So you can see Samsara's just going through some images now, and she's kind of using her gut to like tell her what to pick out and how to start cutting things out. And it's this kind of visceral image-based of this practice that makes it so fantastic, because once you build these cards, the things that they reveal to you, I just want to say, you almost could never get that clear of a message from a published deck that you didn't make with your own hands. Another way to think about Soul Collage is that think of yourself as a prism, and think of your attention and awareness as the light, right, that's shining through the prism. And as your awareness, as the light shines through you, the prism, you get all these rainbow colors. You get a big spectrum of colors. And just as we would not want to have a rainbow with no orange and blue, so too do we want to make every card that comes to us in Soul Collage. Even if our logical mind, our ego, doesn't like the card or even is repulsed by the card, that's even more of a reason to make that card. And the reason why, and this is another superpower of Soul Collage, is that once you've made the card, that information, that energy identity is contained in this card. So we can give this card, this energy, this identity, what it wants. It wants to be seen and heard, and it wants to be able to bring us information and healing. And there's really no other practice that I know of that does this quite as well as Soul Collage. I just also want to say that in Soul Collage, we have a really unique way of dealing with shadow. We don't look at shadow as something bad or anything like that. All shadow is just too much or too little of something. So it's just something out of balance. So that's yet another reason that if you're looking at an image, you're like, oh, it kind of makes me nervous, then go get another image and another one and put that card together. And then you're going to be able to hear that card speak. And some of our most tricky cards have become our favorites because of the alchemizing ability of Soul Collage, the process. So here are the 3 basic rules of Soul Collage. Your cards that you make are just for you. So unlike a published deck where you might do readings for someone else, unlike some other art piece that you might share on Instagram or something like that, our Soul Collage cards are just for us. They are for us to use for readings for ourselves, and we actually don't even let other people comment on our cards. And this is kind of magical in and of itself, because it means that our cards, our deck, belong just to us. They're sacred just for us. And how many things in this life are just for us? Very few. So they're just for you, and we don't let other people talk about them, and we're not going to do readings for other people. This is our magical object that we create probably for both of us over the rest of our lives. It's going to be a great, big, magical object once you have 100 cards in your deck. But even if you just make one card, I guarantee you're going to get so much out of that one card. So make one card, make 100 cards, all good. So your cards are just for you. That's rule 1. Rule 2, leave your critical art brain at the door. You don't need it here. It's all about when you start kind of mushing these images around and laying them on top of each other. We've both found that there's like sort of like a gut, like clicking into place, this gut feeling of like click, oh, that's this card. Then you glue it down and that becomes your card. So yes, you'll get the most out of it. And then if your critical art brain comes in, just recognize that we're all human. A lot of us are creatives. It's fine, but we're gonna endeavor to be more focused on that like gut feeling of like clicking into place, that's the card, then I like how this looks, or when I show this to someone else, I assume they will like how it looks.
Yeah, exactly.
This is about you. Yeah. All of this is about you. And the third rule of soul collage is that even though we're putting together between like maybe 2 and 7 images, we're collaging them together to make one card, every one of our cards, we want to have each card have one cohesive energy or identity. When you make your cards, you actually don't need to know what that energy or identity is. Again, it's like more that gut click into place. It's like, oh, I don't know what this all means, but it's together and it has one through line of an identity or an energy that is representing for me. And I also want to say that you can make soul collage cards 2 ways. You can make them intentionally, meaning like, I love Aphrodite, I'm going to make an Aphrodite card. Or you can do what we're doing here today, which is just like throwing the images out on the table and just finding the ones that, almost like stick to your fingers, you want them so much, and then putting those together and then finding out what the card means when it's done. So again, we are thrilled you're going to be joining us for a upcoming workshop. Right now, I'm going to let Somsara build a card right in front of you so you see how absolutely easy this process is. And again, if you have any questions as you go through this super fast lightning speed tour of Soul Collage, write those questions down, bring them to your workshop, and chances are someone else has the same question and we will answer it there. This process, what we've shown you today, what we're going to show you in a minute with Somsara building a card, is the tip of the iceberg. This is an infinite process that Somsara and I intend to do for the rest of our lives because we love it so freaking much. But it really just keeps getting deeper and better and more resonant and magical the longer that we do it. Okay, so now we're going to switch our camera so Somsara can show you how to build a card.
So I'm going to show you how to assemble a soul collage card with just some basic items that you have around your house. I'm first going to run through the supplies here. Traditionally, soul collage cards are made on these 5x8 cards. They're just a little bit thick, 5x8, and you get these plastic sleeves to put them in, and that's generally what people use. Now, you can order these from the Soul Collage site. There's a link in the video space here, and then we'll put one on our site too. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to order specifically from them. You can really use anything around your house. So this is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Fold it in half. You can just leave it like this. You can cut it. You can cut it down exactly to the 5x8 size if you're feeling fussy. But the process works no matter what you use it on. You could also use just cardboard. That's fine too. It really works on anything. This is also a useful tool. It's a cropping frame, and we use it for when we have images and you kind of want to see how things are going to look. You put it on like this. This is provided for you in the PDF. There is a page that you can print out, and you just cut this inside area out here, and boom, you have the exact same cropping frame template that we do. The other things that you will need is some kind of cutting device, so an X-Acto blade. Please be careful if you're going to use that. Scissors, if you don't have an X-Acto, or sometimes I like to use both. We prefer to use a glue stick to put the images down on the card. If you don't have that, you can use regular glue, although that can get a little messy. Double-sided tape works fine too. So, let's assemble a Soul Collage card. These are images that I was picking during the earlier filming of the video, just to keep it very true to form and instantaneous about what images grab me. This is the image that grabbed me first today. So I grabbed this. Then I went and found an image that I thought sort of complemented that, and I found this one. So I cut out the background here, and then I went and found a background to put it all on, and the whole thing I was doing all the while, putting this nice frame around it so I could kind of see what the finished piece would look like. So now that I know that I want the card to look like this, the question is, how do you get it onto the card itself? So I'm going to be using a traditional Soulcollage card here. So the first thing you do is put down the smaller pieces first, because you know exactly where they want to go. So you can pick up your frame and you can just kind of dot glue in the background like this. You don't have to put a lot of glue to get it to stick, because it's all going to go inside your nice clear plastic sleeve at the end. If you don't have that, maybe you want to put a little more glue just so things stay in place, but you really don't need to cover the entire image in glue. It's also a lot more hard to reposition it. So I know this is going to go something like this. Before I press down too much, I'm going to get my frame back up in there, make sure I like that. Yep, that's going to be just fine. So I'm going to press that down. And that basically is going to be my Soulcollage card. It's going to look like this. So the tricky part now is, how do you get this image onto the card? And we've developed kind of a very simple way to do that. If you have your template, you can just take your card that's cut down to size and put it inside the template. Just pull up the template like that. If you hold it down really carefully, you could just use this very carefully as a ruler. You can cut off one side here and one side here. Take off those excess parts there. Line that up there, just like that. And you can put just as much glue as you need on the card. You really don't have to do the whole thing. And line up that one corner like that and like that. Flip it around to check it. Looks good. And same thing, just use the edge of the card as a ruler. Cut off the excess. And boom, there's your card. And then if you have a sleeve, you can pop it right in. Pull off the edge, close it. And now you've completed a Soulcollage card. And then the next part is moving on to, what does this baby mean? Which I don't really know yet, so I'll find out in a moment or so. That's it.
So we're done. We are so excited for you to join us at this workshop. And like we said before, if you have any questions, just jot them down and we're going to answer them. This literally was like step one on a lifelong journey. So there's much, much more to Soulcollage, but we don't want to overwhelm you before we're together with you.
That's right. It's just like a little amuse-bouche, a little appetizer of what's going to happen in the workshop itself. So now you're caught up.
Exactly. So we can't wait to see you. And, you know, you can go ahead and make some Soulcollage cards now if you want to, or you can wait till the workshop and we'll do it together.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you then.